Peace, family. Peace, warriors. This is Dr. Sadiki Che Baye, the host of the Men's Room Talk Show, coming to you live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a place, family, where you're going to hear the voices of our warriors, our black men, our leaders, our teachers, our guides, our directors, our providers. We want to definitely highlight the black man because we've been given a bad rap, and we want to set the record straight. We want to set the record straight, family, that we are the enemy's greatest fear. So they got to put out a lot of propaganda and a lot of fake news and whatever to make us look less than what we really are. But we're here, the purpose of the men's room is to make sure that we get our signal straight in reference to who we are and whose we are. Family, I have a special guest today. I'm not going to prolong this. We have a special guest. He's a warrior. He's been on the battlefield for many years. He's made a lot of progress. He's a historian. He's an author. He's a writer. He's a community activist. He's all that. I can't even list as much as he is, of his value, of his reality. So we're going to allow him to tell us, exactly who he really is, and the difference between the way it was and the way it is. So I want to introduce to you, family, our warrior, our Elder Eric T Willis Sr.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. Can you share with us, Elder, part of your journey? You know, what your environment when you were younger, and some of the events that occurred throughout your journey.
Well, where I grew up at, the heart of North Philadelphia, 21st and Thurs, as a section of the city that's called the Ward. I lived there for about 9 years at 2031 North 21st Street. The building is still standing. A 3-story brick building with white marble steps that we had to wash every Saturday morning. They had to make them steps look white. That was a family chore before you could hit the street to go out to play. My father instilled in me and my brother, who I lived with, that you had to take care of business first and play second. Well, our business there at 21st Street was to clean the 3-story house from the inside, and we switched back and forth. But we learned the responsibility of taking care of home, and we took care of that home. We also learned how to do, we learned how to do things that most young men today really don't pay attention to. My brother and I could cook. We learned how to cook at a very early age. By necessity, we had to cook, and we learned well. I later moved on to 19th Street, and I moved with my grandmother. And I stayed with my grandmother and my 2 uncles who are the same age as I am. They were very instrumental in my child bringing up. We learned the rights and the wrongs and all the in-betweens by doing and not doing. One covered the other's back all the time. If I was going in the wrong direction, my brother would steer me in the right direction. My uncle would tell me from one thing to another. And we all went different ways. We all went different ways as we grew up. But my thing was I was pretty athletic. And I went to the boys' clubs. I went to the rec centers. And I was what they call a more or less a gym rat. I stayed in some recreation center along the way. But little did I know, that I found out as I grew up, that the people that I was leaning toward following in their direction because they showed a sense of caring about the neighborhood and the boys and girls. So there was a young man by the name of Mr. Green we thought Mr. Green's job was taking care of us, the neighborhood kids. But that was his second job. He worked at the post office, who I later on met with him at the post office because I went to the post office.
Wow.
And when I went, I started off with a strange working history. I used to deliver papers. I used to pick up trash and take it to the junkyard as a young man. I used to deliver food from the shopping market to people's homes. I always had a hustle in my pocket, a jingle, I should say, in my pocket, because I always was hustling to make some money.
All right.
And money was money back in the day. You could buy a loaf of bread for 3 cents. You know, unbelievable. But that's the way it was. But anyway, I went from delivering papers to working at Lit Brothers department store. Lit Brothers department store was at 8th and Market. It was the busiest corner in the world. There was Strawberries on one side, Strawberry clothing, and there was Gimbel's on the other side, and then there was a orange juice and donut coffee on the other corner. So those 4 corners have been noted and worldwide that those corners had the busiest transactions in the world.
Wow.
On that corner. And from Lit Brothers, I spent 15 years in Lit Brothers. During the time I was, at a time I was out of school, I worked there. Believe it or not, I was a dishwasher.
Wow.
And then I became a grill man. All in the employees' cafeteria at Lit Brothers. Then I moved out of that and I went to being a stockman. I was a stockman for many years. I left there as the head of stock, and I left there to go to the post office. When I went to the post office, it opened up a whole new world for me. It was something that I was more or less following in my brother's footsteps because he got there before me. And he left there way above my rank. He was a level 23, and I was a level 15. I retired as a level 15 only because of the logistics. The post office was moving to West Philadelphia, and I either took a promotion and went to West Philadelphia, which I would have been a level 17, or either I retired. So I retired. After 24 years at the post office, I retired. It was great years. I did well there, but hard for some people to believe, I also also had another job.
Wow.
I worked for the school board for 27 years. And working for the school board, I was at Ada Lewis Middle School on Ardley Street, 6199 Ardley Street.
What section of Philadelphia was that?
Mount Airy. It was on the crust of Mount Airy in Germantown.
Okay.
So we had a mixture of children that came from all walks of life. And it was the largest middle school in the city for some time. We had over 2,000 some kids. And it was an awesome experience. But in between the working, I was a long distance runner.
Wow.
I used to run the 15-mile journey, 13.5 journey, which was the half marathon. And I would run that every year, but on the weekends, every weekend, I would run Valley Green, and Valley Green was 11 miles, and then I would cross over Ridge Avenue and go into West River Drive or East River Drive. Either one I took, and we would do what they call the loop. That's 8 miles. So after finishing the loop, we would run back to Valley Green, and it was amazing. We would run 20 miles on Saturday. I'd run 24 on Sunday. I also was working both jobs.
Wow.
And that was just part of it. I played basketball after we got through running on Saturday and Sunday at the Albury Rec Center. And sometimes we would travel to other rec centers and play. And this was every Sunday. It was unbelievable that I could find the time. I don't know how I found the time. But even with that, I managed to bowl a little bit. I wasn't good, but I bowled a little bit. I even became president of the school district's bowling league.
Wow.
And that was for a short time. And then playing basketball was something that I loved to do. And I could stop before I went in the house. If the boys were playing outside, I would run around with them for a little while and then come into the house.
Okay, well, tell me this, Elder. Can you highlight quickly some of the athletes that you had some experiences with that were well-known people. So can you highlight a couple of them of them so that we can get a better feel of.
Well, coming out of Moreland Recreation Center, which is at 25th and Diamond, we were basically the first young men that came into that rec center, and during that time, as I said, I was a gym rat. I played with some of the best ball players in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and I could say some of the best in the world.
All right.
We were known for being good. Anybody that played at Moreland was good. We had a team that I was one of the young men that played on it. It was called the Central Stars. The Central Stars had history. We had sweatsuits and travel shirts for when we traveled across the East Coast. We played on weekends, and we would play anywhere. And we looked like the Harlem Globetrotters, except our colors was green and gold, with 5 stars on the back of the jacket. And we had a senior team and a junior team. Some of the likes of people that were on the senior team were Claude Gross, Bozo Walker, Bozo Brown, one of the Urquhart brothers, I can't think of his name, Pete Urquhart. He was one of the young men, but Zach Clayton, the referee from the Thriller in Manila, he was one of the Central Stars, and
Wait a minute, you said that one of the referees was the ref in the Thriller of Manila?
he
With
was
Muhammad Ali and Frazier?
He was a Central Star.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Harold Rush was a Central Star. There was a mix-up of names of some of the Browns, because we had a couple of Browns, Bozo Brown, and then we had another Brown. I can't think of the name of it. His name. But anyway, we could play 3 games in one night.
Wow.
We would take, say, 4 of the seniors would go to one center, and 5 of the juniors would go to that center. And then 4 more seniors would go to another center, and 4 more juniors would go. And you didn't even have to know your teammates. All you knew is when they came in and they had that sweatsuit on, they went on the roster.
Wow. Who's this guy that they called the Dipper? You know, what was your experience with him?
My experience with him was mostly playing against him.
Who is the Dipper?
You talking about Walter Still Chamberlain?
All right now.
He played with us a couple of times, and that was it. The rest of the time we played against him. But
did you win?
Oh, we always won.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we didn't lose. We didn't lose. I mean, I could say Cloyd Gross is his brother-in-law. Cloyd Gross was one of our seniors.
Oh.
Cloyd Gross and Cheney, John Cheney.
Well, who's brother-in-law?
Walter Silk's brother-in-law. They call him Sally.
Oh, okay.
His wife was named Selena, and that was Chamberlain's sister.
Oh, okay. So he became Chamberlain's brother-in-law.
He was Chamberlain's brother-in-law.
Okay.
And that was one of the best ball players that never made it to the pros, but he had a pro game. He just was in his own way uncoachable. It's hard to set a play for him, because if the ball came his way, he got it and he shot it and he made it.
Okay.
But he didn't listen to the coach.
Oh, okay.
But he still was one of my great friends. And like I said, he was a central star.
Okay. Well, what kind of person do you remember as Wilt Chamberlain, since all of us know Wilt Chamberlain?
Wilt Chamberlain was a nice guy. He always was gracious and nice. He was friendly with everybody. I only seen him not be friendly one time. We was playing for the gold medal tournament in Germantown at the old boys club, Wissahickon. And the boys from Germantown did not like us winning the game. Him and another fellow by the name of Carl Smith. Carl Smith went down and grabbed two guys and handed them to the police officers, and the police officers couldn't handle them. But Chamberlain was down in the middle of the mass of people, and he was just reaching in the crowd and snatching people out and popping them. Wow. He was very strong for a young, thin guy. Wow. At that time, he hadn't developed that massive size that he got in his chest. But that was an inspirational game because we won the gold medal tournament. And that little teeny building, and people would see it right now, they would not believe that Wilt Chamberlain played in that gym. But alongside
it was so small, huh?
It was so small.
Okay.
That half court, I mean, this out of bounds was the sidelines, like the rail around it. That was the out of bounds. And it was an interesting game. But from that, we had some other guys that people would love to know how come they were so great. They had a young man by the name of T. Parham. T. Parham was the best shooter that ever came out of Philadelphia. He could shoot with either hand. He was slow, methodical. But to show you how good he was, championship, city game, Ben Franklin and Overbrook. Northeast and Overbrook. It was T. Parham against Wilt Chamberlain.
Now you're saying that Wilt Chamberlain was in Overbrook.
And T was in Northeast.
Northeast, okay.
T had 31 points and Chamberlain had 30. in the city championship game,
Wow.
or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
It was 1 point difference in what. T is only 5'11".
Wow.
He's about 5'11". 6 foot at the most. And that was the biggest game in our heyday.
Wow.
I mean, to see that was unbelievable.
I understand that Will Chamberlain was 6 feet when he was 10 years old.
He might have been.
They said he was 6 feet at 10 years old.
Wow. Wow.
That's tall.
That's tall.
Especially back in those days.
Well, Will Chamberlain is an exception to the rule because he does not get his accolades in today's world. People don't talk about it. They see his number up there and see the stats on the stat sheet, but they don't give him the credit that he deserved.
Right.
He made the game for what it is today.
True.
He expanded the free throw line. He changed the whole dynamics of the game.
Yeah.
And
but they say he still have 50-something records on the books that will probably never touched.
that may be so. I'm not sure what they are, but some of the young men that I grew up with, I still socialize with, and it is so great to be able to speak about them because so many of them have left. So many good ball players have left, and it's good to be around at this time at my age, 88.
8 family, you hear that? Double 8. Wow.
I'm trying to keep moving forward. But I look back at my growing up and the way the young men grow up today, and it hurts me to my heart to watch how they stand on the corners and instead of being in the rec center or doing a job for somebody, painting or picking up trash or cleaning up something, they have no I would say they have no girth. They don't have no grit. They don't know where they're reaching for or what they're reaching for. I think that someone like me could tell some young people some good things about life that they need to try to take advantage of. For one, when I worked at the school, Ada Lewis, I started at Pickett. I was there for 1 year. And during that time, the vice principal of Pickett became the principal of Ada Lewis. He called me up at home and asked me if I wanted to work for him, in which I went to work for him at Ada Lewis. And I was there about 3 years before we opened the doors for the public. It was a great time working at Ada Lewis, and I have so many children that I can't call their names.
Yes.
I'm either their uncle, I'm their principal, you know. There's established dad, or should I say adopted dad. I'm called uncle by a lot of people. I'm called aunt by a lot of people. It is so interesting at the relationships that I built up at 27 years at that school.
Wow.
I have some young men that I have traveled with, and we tried to show them the good way, the great way, traveling together, camaraderie, the value of being socially accepted. A lot of young men don't think they're socially accepted.
Okay, why is that? That's an excellent observation and an excellent point. What do you see as the difference in when you were raised and the way it is now, and what do you think, what elements are missing, or what elements that we should be including, because there is a difference between then and now. In your mind, what caused all of that?
Respect.
Whoa, you hear that, family? Respect.
You know, the first thing my father taught me is to respect my elders. That was number one. And he would go ballistic if anything occurred where I was disrespecting some elder. That's like we're out in the street playing street ball, and you throw the ball and it hit somebody's foot as they're walking, and you don't say nothing. You don't apologize. You don't show amends. That was one of the things, you know, respect to somebody. Or if you brush somebody and accidentally shove them, you know, show the respect. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I apologize. You know, that now.
Yeah, respect the main ingredient that we were taught. We weren't taught love. We found out about love later. But respect was the main foundation to everything. And respect is the foundation to all relationships, family. You can't even love anybody truly if respect is the foundation. Respect is the foundation, family, and it doesn't even cost anything. So we owe that to each other. And I appreciate the elders sharing that with us, because there is a difference in the way things were if we were taught respect. And why? Because we had community, common unity. And all children belong to all the adults. We had community. Children didn't even have any choices unless they were given choices. But now they're all over the place because they have no direction. You know, we have taken things for granted. And I appreciate the elders sharing with us the difference between then and now, because it's almost like a different kind of world, a different kind of energy. And the consequences today is like unbelievable, that it's not a positive time to go back and get what we left behind. So, Elder, moving forward, what how did you participate in the community to actually give food for thought, or giving some kind of direction to the youth?
Well, I participated in organizing leagues at the rec center. That was one thing. We had basketball leagues. We had the first 3-on-3 league, basketball league, at Albury Recreation Center.
See, most people think that 3-on-3 just...
We started that, and it moved on, and next thing we know, they had a 3-on-3 tournament out in I can't think of the name of the place. but it was a big. There's 88 courts, and with the 88 courts, they had 3-on-3 basketball.
Wow.
You had one substitute,
Mm.
and when we played, we had 3 people and 2 substitutes
Mm.
to sub in the game, and that was right at Aubury Recreation Center.
Wow.
Myself and a fellow by the name of Butch Williams, we did that.
Oh, that's
We
beautiful.
organized that,
That's beautiful.
and Butch was the maintenance man. He wasn't the leader.
Mm.
We
Something?
we had a leader that wasn't a leader.
Wow.
And out of respect, I'll say that Bush was doing half the job of the rec leader.
Mm. And he was a custodian.
He was the custodian.
Isn't that something?
Him and I organized the leagues with the young men, and we had All-Americans, guys that had played for the national championship.
Mm.
They played out there with us, and one was named Ray Tarnowski and Bob Brown. They played for the national championship team. And we had a point guard who played for that same team. It was interesting how you would attract such great players to come and play in our little neighborhood rec center. But we organized the summer basketball parts of the city. There was no part of the city that we didn't have a team playing in that league.
But how did Sunny Hill come on? I mean, Sunny Hill and
They were Sunny Hill was affiliated with the Baker League, and the Baker League ended up having another side of it, and that was called the Sunny Hill League.
yeah, Sunny Hill. Yeah.
And those were the young guys just coming out of college, went into the Sunny Hill League.
Oh,
But
okay.
Baker League was more mature and older gentlemen established. They were more or less, they were pros. The Baker League, they were professionals, and then came the Sunny Hill League. Sunny Hill played with T Parham at Northeast on that championship team when they played. He was a great ball player. He's good. He could jump out of this world. But his best game is baseball.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a baseball player too. And so was T Parham. T Parham was a baseball player. They were excellent. But that goes to show you sports, how one thing handles the other. T was what you call ambidextrous, and he could shoot with both hands. Sonny could jump out of this world. Sonny's about 6'2", and he could jump like he was 6'7".
Wow.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Philadelphia had a lot of great ball players. A lot of great ball players. And going backwards, I would say Mr. Green. Mr. Green was the guy that I sort of looked forward to being something like. He was our father away from home.
Wow.
We thought that he worked for.
Wow.
You know, we thought he was getting paid. But he had the North Philadelphia Federation of Boys Clubs.
Oh, wow.
And we would play softball summertime, and we played basketball in the wintertime. And Mr. Green was always there.
Wow.
He had the equipment, he had the knowledge, and we used to go to the church at Woodstock and Diamond and box inside, and he had to play checkers and what have you, all in that church. And we still look at Mr. Green as thinking, you know, his job to take care of us.
Wow.
And he was around all the time. But when I went to the post office, I got the biggest surprise in my life.
What's that?
I went up on the 3rd floor, and who was there sorting mail was Mr. Green.
Mr. Green. Wow. Wow.
And he had been doing that my whole childhood.
Okay, well, tell me that. That's a great point also. See, we had examples, and we had people to look up to. What is missing today, or what do you think about how things were? You had examples, and you had people to look up to, and so forth. What is going on today that, you know, it seems like something shifted?
We're making bad choices.
Okay.
Our children are making bad choices.
And what's the cause of that?
They're not being exposed to the good things.
Okay, and whose fault? Who would you?
Parents.
Okay.
Parents, because there are some that do not belong to a gang. You know, they don't hang on the corners. Mm-hmm. Old-fashioned rules.
Okay.
Old-fashioned.
Okay.
Honor the family. You know, that doesn't happen these days.
Okay.
You know, I've seen little girls cuss out their grandmothers because the mother wasn't there, and the grandmother was bringing them back to school for being suspended for whatever the reason. And it's too much of that.
Okay.
Where are the mothers? Where are the fathers? They're not there.
Gotcha.
So we need to change that.
We need to reestablish our culture, our tradition.
And our role in life.
Right, right.
If you have a baby, take care of that baby.
All right now.
You know, that's not happening. Because what's happening is they hand it to the sister and tell her to take care of the baby. You know, it's crazy.
And they don't have no skills that we had back then.
That's the number one point. They don't have no skills.
Yeah.
It's what they call babies raising babies. When the children would come back to the school for a disciplinary reason, it wasn't the parent that came, it was the grandparent. But the parent wasn't around.
Yeah, I thank God for the grandparents because they always had our backs.
And the older folks.
Yeah, older folks, they knew what was up, and I appreciate that. And now, we're looking at, the time is moving quickly, and when you're having fun, the time moving quickly, I always, you know, really appreciate you and your presence and your energy and your contribution to the community.
I try.
And not, well, trying can be generic, but if you see evidence, that's not a try, that's actually doing it.
Well, I went to a funeral, unfortunately, and I could see my blessings in a way that most people would not consider as blessings, but to me, it was something that was great. I seen so many of my young friends at a funeral. So many of them, and they called me uncle.
Oh wow!
And every one of them came over to, approach me and to say something.
Beautiful.
And tell me what they were doing and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I say the fruits are in your labor.
There you go.
And you look around you and I could see,
But that's why I was saying about the shrine. Obviously, you was doing it because they saw evidence. So that's bigger than trying. That's why we have to be careful with these terms, because trying can be generic. That can mean a little or nothing really, trying. But when you actually do your efforts, and that's what people acknowledge. Now, I would like to move forward again. Man, the time is moving. I understand that you went into real estate and you wrote a book that we have right here, and you did a little traveling and so forth and so on. So can you kind of let us know or share with us, that your experiences quickly through the real estate and what inspired you to write this beautiful, book of man, this is like a history kind of a voyage there.
I'll start with the book. I wrote the book so that my grandchildren and great-grandchildren could look back and know where they came from.
Legacy.
And so they would know. And it would be educational for them in some ways. We always want to know, we want to know the history. If you know the history, it's good. If you know where you're going, that's even better.
Woo.
That's even better. But it's different things to strive forward for, to strive to do. I went into the mortgage business as a challenge. It was a challenge. I've seen so many people getting misused and abused with the mortgages and whatnot, that I said I could do that, and I applied for my license. And
beautiful.
I got the license, and then I managed to get some great bankers that I did my banking with. And they taught me the way. They didn't know they was teaching me, but they was teaching me. And every time we did a loan, I learned something.
Beautiful.
And I took that, and I was motivated by that. And I had a nephew who was a mathematician. He is really great. And I got him to come and work with me.
Beautiful.
His name is Mark Willis. And we worked together, and we did some good things. And a lot of the things that we did never reached the surface of doing nothing but having a good consultation and telling somebody what to do to get out of a certain situation. That made no money. There wasn't no money in it. But when I did the mortgages, it was money there, but I didn't do enough of them. And the mortgage industry crashed. And when it crashed, I closed the doors. But prior to me closing the doors, a tree fell on me. And I was more or less forced to close the doors. I could have been grandfathered in with the federal government, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen because I came back into my office after being away for a month. I came back into my office and I was going through the mail, and there was a letter there inviting me to join the government.
Wow.
As a full-blown 52 state mortgage broker.
Wow.
But guess what? I was a day late.
Wow.
I called the state. And the state said it's all over. We closed our computers down, and your number is no longer, and you can't get grandfathered in to the government because yesterday was the last day. So that ended my mortgage business. It was great. I did some wonderful mortgages for a lot of people.
Beautiful.
And I helped a lot of people that didn't have the money or didn't know how to get the money, and we had a vehicle for doing all of that.
Wow. Well, I understand that there's no greater feeling than giving. And seeing giving is a principle you can't afford not to give. See, so we have to understand that we were given life and we were given opportunities, in order to be a better version of those before us. But for some reason, we lost our vision, we lost our sight on watching the ones before us. And then we started wandering in the wilderness, and we got further out in the desert. But we need to find a process to bring us back home. And people like you, with your stories and sharing your journey, is very inspirational. So that we can see that everything that's going on now, it wasn't going on back then. This is this new kind of stuff because we turned our backs on community, common unity, that kind of respect, like you were saying. Now my thing is, I don't have to love you to respect you, because respect is due. Okay. They say even respect is due to a dog, and I keep hearing that. But that there's white folks stuff dogs. The dog is a man's best friend, which is ridiculous. But anyway, they say respect is due. So respect is something that was a highlight of us when we were coming up, but it's almost like we lost sight of that. For some reason, we have to reestablish that great principle, that great concept.
And it starts from within.
And it starts from at home. And it's not always a building. We talk about the home of your mind, because everything is mental. Everything starts in the mind. It comes from a thought. So can we lead right in? Again, time is moving, man. We got to have you on again, brother, because you have so much to offer, as far as us reflecting and seeing differences. We got to see the differences here so that we'll know, which way to go. And so let's lead this right up to your book here. What motivated and inspired you to write this? Man, this book is heavy, it's deep, you know what I mean? Wow. So we don't have to have no volumes and all of that to be deep, but this book right here is a beautiful writings and experiences here.
Most of the experiences there and the people mentioned there good folks. My grandkids and great-grandkids would love to take and make use of some of the things that I have written in there for them to do. I think they will use it. I don't know even if their mothers and fathers have read the book, but there's a lot in there for not only my grandchildren, but for everyone's grandchildren. Those things in there could be used by anybody. Anybody. I take things often for granted, and that's a weird way of putting it, but I take it for granted that they're going to pick that book up and read it. Today's world, they don't do that. They listen to it on a tape or something and be doing whatever they like to do instead of reading. But first they need to learn how to read.
It's true. Because reading is a skill.
It is a skill. And writing is a skill.
Yes.
Now,
and learning is a skill.
by putting bits and pieces together, I could put my life together real easy, you know, because I know where I came from.
Beautiful.
I know which direction I'm going, and I just don't know what's going to happen ever after. But I know in time, we all go.
That's right.
So I'll have a smile on my face.
All right.
I'm sure, you know, I don't even fear death or whatnot.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. What you're making me, what I'm getting out of that is, it's not always how you start, but it's always how you finish.
Basically, we know how we're going to finish. You know, the Grim Reaper going to come, you know, when we not know it.
All right, now.
We never know when that happens.
So we have to prepare.
Right, so if you, I can say my legacy is there, and I'm proud of who I am. Yeah. So if I follow that along, you know, it will be powerful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And you know, like I got feeling that I still, you know, talk to, socialize with more or less, and they still know me from when. I don't get around like I used to, but you know.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I think my past experiences have overwhelmed me because I'm always surprised. I got a surprise yesterday. Fred Jackson, who was one of my ball players and postal workers, he called me and he was celebrating his 77th birthday.
Wow.
I said, "You're 77?" I said, he said, "Yeah, I'm 11 years younger than you." I said to him, I said, "So that's how you were jumping all up over top the basket and whatnot, and you know, taking him back to when we played ball together." I was playing with him.
Wow.
And then we played softball together.
Wow, and there's something.
Yeah, but it's
a good old time.
After the clear blue, I got the phone call.
Wow. Oh.
I said, "Wow, ain't that something?"
That's deep.
Yeah, but that goes back, and it goes back days and years and months. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Give you something to reflect on.
Oh yeah.
That's
positive.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but but then again, that's that respect.
How about that? An acknowledgement.
And respect and acknowledgement. He acknowledged the fact that we had good times and we talked about a lot of stuff and told lies about different things. We had a good time on the phone. You know, but he retired from the post office. He didn't work in my section. He was a carrier, but we socialized together, played on the same teams.
Oh, and that's something?
Yep, we were good. Germantown Bullets.
Germantown Bullets, wow.
Yep, we won the championship for quite a few times.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And, you know, playing softball. And then he played on the team at the post office. He played on the team, and we won, you know, championships there.
Okay, well, share with us one of the main highlights of your book that is most impressed you.
My book is when the do's and the don'ts. The do's and the don'ts. It's a section here where I said, I think I wrote, these are the things that you must take and pay attention to. And it's one page and with a list of items on it. And one of them is top of the line. I think that's top of the line. Would see someone chastise a child, and the child start crying. You know, didn't they have to be your child?
True.
Somebody else's child.
True.
Because they knew that if they told your mother or your father, it was trouble.
That's trouble, brother.
So you had to kiss up.
That's right.
You had to kiss up to whoever that was.
That's right.
And you didn't want nothing to get back home.
Oh no, nothing at all, brother. And then if you say, then you say, no, so-and-so not telling the truth. Oh, you saying that Miss So-and-so telling a lie, or saying a lie, then you gonna get it even more after that.
Well, the funniest thing is when they tell you to go out in an apple tree and bring me a switch.
Oh yeah.
You going out there and you better get the right one.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get the right one, I'm gonna have to go out there and get that switch.
Yeah.
Oh no, you didn't want them to go get that switch.
Yeah, that switch that they get like a whip.
That switch there is apple tree.
Yeah.
That switch will cut you to the quick.
Yeah.
And so you know you was in trouble.
Yeah.
So you to go get that.
Yeah, you had to go get your own switch.
Get your own switch.
You better come back right.
And you better straighten up.
Yeah.
You're begging all the way. Oh my goodness. That's a fun time. That's lessons I learned down in Orange, Virginia.
Orange, Virginia.
I stayed down there for a summer with my uncles.
Okay.
And that I learned.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Don't let her tell you to go get an apple switch. Yeah, because I went and got I don't know what kind of tree it was. I got a switch. You know,
They said it's not apple here.
it was about that long.
Uh,
But it wasn't like apple.
it was an apple, huh? The apple switch snap,
When it hits you,
yeah.
it wraps around you.
Oh my goodness.
It wraps around it. The apple switch.
It give you something to remember, huh?
Oh, you remember it. I mean, when they pull it back, pop. Oh my God. You didn't take too many hits with that.
Right, and you remember too.
And that was a lesson well taught.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, a lot of people say, oh, it's cool to take and whip somebody. Sure, it's a message being taught.
There you go.
There's some cruelty to it, but,
Right.
you know, there's cruelty to everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that, you know, they wanted us to feel it because they already knew that if I didn't do it,
Somebody
then
else.
the enemy gonna do it. And when the enemy gets his hands on you, it's gonna be greater than a whipping. You're gonna try to kill you behind. You know, so that's why our parents were so adamant about disciplining us before we go out in this world.
Right.
It's all about discipline. It's all about preparation to prepare you to go out there in this vicious world and knowing how to navigate.
Well, it's a mindset.
There you go.
And if you have the right mindset, you can travel.
Yes.
And you can walk among the enemy.
That's true.
You know,
And you can make sense out of it.
it's right in front of us all the time.
That's true.
We just have to look for it.
That's true.
You know.
Well, we have to prepare, so some people are not ready. Like you said, I ask people, why do you see things now that you didn't see yesterday when it was right in front of you?
That's a hard question.
You know, and I say that we weren't ready.
Right, it's a hard question.
We wasn't ready. Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing. So we have to prepare. Life is about preparation. We have to be prepared because when you're prepared, no one can catch you off guard.
Right.
See, we're not a prepared people. We're too emotional. You know, and we got to be thinkers. We're thinkers first. Matter of fact, we're spiritual first.
I would say that being a thinker is one thing, but you have to be a doer.
I got you. You gotta execute that. What
right.
thinking. There you go.
And if you can do that, then you're above the game.
I'm mercy.
You're above the game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, a lot of us can think things, but we can't do it.
That's true. That's true. And that's why we call a lot of those people we call educated fools.
Yeah.
You know, they educated, they book smart, but when it comes to executing it, they don't have a
They
clue.
don't know one tool from the other tool.
You say you're going to do some plumbing work. Go get your tools. This guy grabs a hammer. What you doing with a hammer? Where's your wrench? You said go do some plumbing.
Right.
He said, well, I got a tool, but it's the wrong tool.
Right.
We have to know the difference.
And you know, when we do, and when people know what they're doing and they can put it forward and show it, it's unbelievable. And I'll take, for example, the fellow that drew Washington on paper. On paper, he got it written right after how it should be. You know, and he didn't get the credit for that.
Right.
He didn't get the credit for doing it.
Benjamin Banneker.
Yeah, well, they bought it out, you know, later years.
Right. That's true.
But
That's true.
years back, his name wasn't nowhere to be seen.
Right.
And the same token with the guy that built the airplane. The Wright brothers wasn't the first to design it.
True.
It was another fellow, black.
True.
And they took all the credits for it, though.
Well, we inventors of everything, you know, but we had no rights. You know what I mean? They just took and patented it because they was in control of all of that. They'll take it, patent it, and claim it.
Well, they did a lot of that.
Sure.
A whole lot of that
You
was.
better believe it. And they still do.
I'm trying to think of another edifice, a building that black. I don't know. It was the Eiffel Tower. I'm not sure, but it was another black that designed the building.
Well, how about the Philadelphia Art Museum?
Yeah,
A lot of people don't know that. There's a black man that
did that. Right. And that's amazing, that building. Believe it or not, and you're gonna say, you never been inside it. I never been inside it.
wow.
But I've been on the premises, outside it,
Right.
around it,
Right.
you know, but I never ventured in.
Okay, you ran up the steps, but you never ran inside.
Right, I ran up the steps. Ran up them steps and down, and we used to swim in it.
Okay.
On the sides of coming down the step.
Right.
There used to be water running down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, little waterfall.
Yeah, it used to be running down there.
Okay.
And we used to swim in there.
Oh, wow. They were the good old days, man.
Yeah. I mean, nobody would think that because there was no water, there haven't been no water there in years.
Wow.
But yet, that was a favorite place to go because if you'd run through the park,
Oh, okay.
you're hot and sweaty,
Yeah.
and here's this nice, cool water,
Jump right
in there, you know. And it wasn't just black on white, you know. It was a mixture.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I mean, all the cultures, I could see some people doing that. It wasn't just black or white. It was a mixture, but that was a nice place to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
That's a beautiful thing.
East River Drive and West River Drive was fantastic.
Right. That was my spot, you know, to go to ride my bike and to jog and to just meditate, you know, to clear your mind because you're down by the waterfront and all of that and the Schuylkill River and so forth, man.
Did you notice that them birds that used to be out there? I don't know the names of them, but they would be out there in droves.
The geese?
The geese.
Yeah.
They're gone. I don't know where they moved them to, but somehow they moved them. And so they're not down there.
Yeah.
They moved them out to some farm.
You're absolutely right, though, with that. You think about it.
Yeah, because they chase you away. I mean, you be running and they be running.
Right.
They be running right with you.
Right. But when the other folks come on the scene, you know, things change.
Oh yeah.
You know how they go, you know what I mean? Because they're not in tune with nature. It's almost like total control,
Wow.
you know, no respect, no consideration.
Well, that's a change, a Philadelphia change. That's a big Philadelphia change.
Yeah.
But also Philadelphia change is that down on the Delaware, the river where they're building all the apartment buildings and skyscrapers.
True. I remember at the at the Penn's Landing down on the waterfront, down on Delaware Avenue, me and some people, we the ones that developed the African American affair down there.
Okay.
Yeah, we started that. And then I used to vent every year and so forth and so on. See, but all of us have some history, you know, and that's what it's all about. As a matter of fact, we are history. There is no history without the black man and woman. Bless you. Need some water?
Nothing. I'm laughing at you saying
Yeah,
that.
there is no history without us. We are the original. Everybody else came later, family. Later. You know. Thank you, Queen. Yes, we were the only ones that existed. Everybody else came later when they got caught up into these mountains up in northern Russia, which they call the Caucasus Mountains. And that's why the Caucasians came from the Caucasus Mountain. They were the undeveloped black folks that got caught up into this ice age or this cold thing in their pineal gland, which we call the third eye, calcified. It doesn't function. So that's why they have no spirituality, they have no emotions and feelings and rhythms and morals and so forth. Let me open it for you, Elder. There you go.
Strong hands.
I have a reason to be strong, the elders. Yeah. Show you that some of us are paying attention. But yeah, so the time is past, actually moved beyond our time, but at the same time, we're going to have to bring you back on, Elder, because we still have some areas that I want to touch on with you to motivate, inspire, and encourage us in this book family that we're going to upgrade it to the point where it'll be available for you to purchase freely. And so we're there for each other, so we want to motivate, inspire, and encourage you to continue on with documenting, your journey, because this is what you call creating a legacy. This is part of your legacy here. They say no one lives forever. See, once you pass on and transition, you still have this here, so you're still here.
Right.
Yeah, this is you.
This here. Read that and
I don't have my glasses on. It say generational civic what is that? Duties. Yeah. Oh, your glasses? Uh-oh. And it might be shoot. It's kind of strong there. Queen Mother, would you want to come around here and share this with us? Yes. This is Queen Mother Harriet Victoria Atkerson. She is the producer of our show, and she's also a publisher, an author, a writer, a community activist, a mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and all of these things. But she's the one that motivated and inspired me to start Interim Talk Show, because she felt that I was worthy because of my skills and that I have developed through my efforts. I've been blessed through my efforts. Welcome.
And I want to say thank you to Mr. Willis here for writing this magnificent book.
Yes.
It's a journey into Philadelphia history as well as his history, personal history. We have general civic duties. The last 12 years, I have been in politics. The city has a great history in itself. I continue to work as a committeeman for my ward and division. Again, I am giving back to my city, friends, and neighbors as I help young, old, and the unfortunate. It is nice to make a difference. If you can help others, you don't have to get paid to do service working election polls helps the city, the state, and also the nation. It is a thankless job, but it has to be done. People turn their noses up at you and say, you don't do anything, but they wouldn't do it. They will be the first to tell you what you should do and how you should do it. Political life is funny, crazy, and most of all, an ungrateful experience. Again, somebody has to step up and do it.
And that's the key to it all, family. Thank you, Queen, for reading this part of the elders' book. It's called Civic Duties. We have a duty, family. We have a purpose for being here, and our purpose for being here is to actually study the ones before us and become a better version of them. This is what you call honoring. This is what you call representing. This is what you call remembering. And this is what you call, as the elder is saying, the bottom line is respect. And none of that costs money. And it's almost like the real things in life doesn't cost money. So we shouldn't have any excuses by giving it towards one another. We don't have a problem giving it to the enemy to get a pat on the head, or they go through school all them years and all they do is give you a sheet of paper, a piece of paper that qualifies you to get a job that's not even guaranteed. So family, we got to know what we're into and what we've been thrust into and what we've been forced into and who did it. Each other. If the dog with rabies bit me and he turned around and bit the elder, why are we blaming each other? We need to team up and get that dog. So it's about the team effort. We got here through a team. The team is two or more, mom and dad. That's why we have to honor our mother and our father, that your days will become long. Honor. We got to be more honorable. And so we are at the point, family. This is called Growing Up in Philadelphia, The Good and the Bad by Elder Eric T Willis Sr. They call him Easy E. Check that out, family. You know, we always have some names now for one another. That's one thing about us. That's why we always have more than one name. But it's still that person. And he is an easy, laid-back kind of brother, and that's why he got so much done. He didn't go for the foolishness. And his family raised him up correctly, and I appreciate his mother and his father and everybody who has some influence in him being who he is and what he is today. And I appreciate you, Elder. And I'd like for you to, before we close, I would like for you to give us the last words of wisdom for us to take with us.
I think some words of wisdom is that we should learn how to love each other. It doesn't have to be physical, it could be mental. You love thy neighbor like I love thyself. Old words in the scripture somewhere. And that I do. I can be mad with you, but I can still love you. And why I'm mad with you might be for one reason. Why I love you is for another. I love you for your shortcomings. And that's important. Loving you for your shortcomings.
Oh, that's beautiful. And respect is the foundation to it all, family. Respect. So family, respect. RESPECT. Respect one another. And that's why I take on. what love got to do with it. Because she said, how can you love me when you don't respect me? There's no way you can do that. And that's why love comes and goes, because it has no foundation of respect. Everything in life is action. Love is action. Respect is action. God is action. So when you're doing an act of God, it is, you are. We need to understand that, family. If I'm practicing the acts of God, then I am. Didn't they say I am is the name of God? I am is personal, isn't it? No one can say I am for you. That's personal. And if I am is the name of God, be careful what you put behind I am. Because sometimes we curse God. We have to be careful, family, with this bastard language that we call English. One word means so many things. So we're going to end with that, family, give you some raw food for thought. That's what I do. And so I know a lot of people get mad at me because people don't like different. But the real people are different than the world people. And so we're going to carry this thing on, and the real people are the balancers. We are the balancers to all this craziness. And we're not even afraid, because our mission is bigger than our individual selves. We are team players. And you can't stop a team player because you represent more than yourself. So with that in mind, family, we'd like to thank you, Elder. You know, I appreciate you more than ever. I'm getting to know you better, more and more, brother. And I just want to say thank the Creator for you. Thank the Creator for your family, your mom and your dad, and the ones before them, and the ones after them. Keep on doing what you're doing, warrior, and being that massive and that beautiful example that we need in spite of it all.
Keep up the fight.
Keep up the fight, family, and never get tired. Stay on the battlefield and never get tired. This is what have earned you the right to become a warrior. The rites of passage is a lifetime thing, because you have to earn the right to pass through. And this is what we have to do. So everything is based on process, and our process right now is respect towards each other. That's the greatest thing to do, is to have that foundation of respect. And I respect this brother, so now I know what a real man is. Because my eyes is on the ones before me. And keep in mind, man means mind, a thinker. Don't get it twisted. 21 is not good enough. So a child is not an age, a child is a mentality. So family, we got a lot of old children. So family, with that in mind, I'd like to thank the elder for inviting us into his beautiful home, into his environment, to honor and to remember him while he's here. We want him to feel good while he's here. We want to give him a reason to stick around. We're going to let him know you ain't going nowhere, because we ain't finished with you yet. So with that in mind, I'd like to thank you, family. This is Dr. Sadiki Che Baye. I say to you to continue to stay strong and keep your faith where it belongs, because life is for the living. And we must also do your best and let God do the rest. You got to know when to hold and know when to fold. How do you know when to hold and when to fold? You have to have a sharp discerning spirit to know the difference, so you won't be nations. You got to guard your heart. That's why I said your breastplate. You don't want no heart all exposed. Put your breastplate on and use your mind. Because we are warriors by nature. We are builders by nature. We are caretakers by nature. Let's not get it twisted. But we became so religious, we forgot to be spiritual. Let's get real, family. So, because originally there was no such thing as religion, because it wasn't necessary, because we were all spiritual. But when we had the fall, we had to develop a process to get back to our reality, and that's where religion came on the scene. But religion is twisted also. A lot of these leaders, they sold their soul for the non-profit. See, non-profit, they sold their soul for the non-profit status, and real leaders, those so-called leaders are not producing no leaders. Just understand that. You got too much suffering going on in these buildings. It shouldn't be that way. So with that in mind, family, this is Dr. Sadiki Che Baye saying to you, right thinking, right giving, and right eating is holistic living. We have to really get that right. Right thinking, right giving, and right eating is holistic living. With that in mind, family, let's continue to honor and represent our elders and our ancestors. And I thank you once again for inviting me and my producer,
It's a pleasure having you. It's a pleasure having you.
Yeah, man, he live one. You know what I mean? Sometimes doing the right thing can be a lonely road. but we must find each other and honor one another.
I really appreciate the fact that you came by and I could share some tidbits of wisdom, as you might say.
That's right, man. Yeah, that is wisdom. And we appreciate that, brother, and more than you know. You know, and I don't look at this as a lightweight thing. I look at this as life. This is our reality. But somewhere along the way, we made the wrong turn. So we must go back and correct it and get it straight, because we're losing our future, which is our children. We got a nerve to blame our children. That's a shame, to blame the effect when we should be blaming the cause. The cause is the parents. So we must teach our parents how to be parents.
And it's sad, it's all about money.
Yeah, we become capitalists now because we lost sense of community.
It take two household members to take and make one paycheck. So that they're not home. It used to be the mother was home.
Mother's at home, exactly. The man was the breadwinner. Now you got women out there competing with the men. I can dig a ditch too. But with that in mind, family, we can go on and on, but we're going to get the elder back on again in the near future to let him know that we appreciate him and we're not finished with him. So he might as well roll up his sleeves because he got a long way to go. Yeah. Yes, and with that in mind, family, this is Dr. Sadiki Che Baye, the host of the Men's Room Talk Show, and Dr. Sadiki Che Baye, your servant. Have a blessed journey, and go ahead on and get your blessings. Until the next time, keep your head up and do the right thing and continue to be blessed. Peace.
Okay.
Thank you.